Fortunately, it's not just one thing. But initially, obviously, it's education. It's our youth. It's connected to our young people. So that immediately is always the first element that grabs my interest. But in addition to education, I think it's the simple fact that this is about our future, all of us, really. I think collectively, our young people obviously are the future, but we, even in the now, I think it's our future as well, because it all depends on how we invest in them, how we invest in integrating. I think sometimes there's a huge generation gap. Young people don't get what they need because they're disconnected from the people who have the information. But then there's this complaint that young folks aren't doing what they're supposed to do, but I think a lot of that is our responsibility.
One of the things that has been so clear through these tours is that so long ago, UNCF came up with a mantra, mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I think most of us would agree that that's true. But an opportunity is such a terrible thing to waste as well. And I think that so often our young people are given opportunities that they don't take for granted. And so it's exciting for me to be able to meet young people that want to take advantage of the opportunities that are put before them, that don't want to make excuses for where they may be or for why they can't do something. They want to say, yes, they can, and not in some kind of cliche way, but with their actions. And if we can in any way provide some insight about a new way, I think, to work, because I think so often many of us have been told to work hard. And that's nonsense. You need to work smart. And the people who work smart will hire the people who work hard. And I'm hoping that there can be some real practical information that's given through our experiences that will help you know how to work hard, but more importantly, be strategic enough to work smart.
When it comes to that opportunity that Jeff is mentioning, I think education is the key to opportunity. It opens that door. It opened that door for me. Luckily, I was privileged enough to be a part of a community where the lessons that were being taught to me went beyond just my parents. So when I left the house, those things were still being reinforced. It was like, oh man, I can't go nowhere without, I was like stuck. I get knocked upside the head by anybody, and my mom would give people permission. If he acts a fool, knock him upside his head. So that helped to carry on throughout my life, throughout high school, throughout college, and beyond. And I think without that value system, without really prioritizing education, I don't know that any of the things that I've done since then would have, the relative success and the degree of success that they've had. I think it's all built on the foundation of having a good education.
I would just say that I think there is so much to gain outside of the classroom, even in the educational environment. And so the best thing that ever happened to me in college was not what I did in the classroom. I went to school on a track scholarship. I was All-American and wanted to go to the Olympics, and I had a track coach that was a jerk because he told me, he said, I want you to run track and go to class. I'm like, this ain't even a revenue sport, man. I mean, come on.
And how I do wish that I had had that to fall back on in case that other career never happens for me again, and still using my gift and combining with that education. So I'm encouraging you all to stay in and at the same time really educate yourself on what your passions are so you can combine that book knowledge with that world knowledge and that spirit knowledge. Can I stay? Can I stay now?
Okay,
Thanks, Sarah.
all right, you can stay. I just wanted to quickly, and I agree with what Jeff said. Instead of being redundant here, I just wanted to stress one important point about the educational process being more than only academics. And I know you've heard this a billion times from everybody. Stay in school, get your books. And after a while, it gets a little bit too much. The educational process means take advantage, use it as a catalyst to open your minds about things. The way you socialize with your peers, that's an educational process in itself. You know, you traveling the world, there's so many things out there that we have no idea about at that age. We're on a global platform now. The internet has provided so many pathways that are instant that we can have contact with somebody in China in real time. So those kind of things are what the educational process should be about. That's way more than numbers, way more than math, way more than biology could ever be. And that's a true privilege. And like Lamont said earlier, with me as well, I grew up in Germany. Our education system was completely different than here. I couldn't speak English when I first came here. And, but my parents, who were both doctors, never pushed me to learn. They always saw it as a given. It's something that I didn't even have a choice about. There was no conversation in our house about going to school. It was like brushing your teeth. It was like breathing air. That's something that you just did. I'm the product of that. And the reason why I ended up in the United States is because I had my mind opened by the educational process at home, and which encouraged me to, you know, come here, get on a plane, and travel to this foreign country that I had no idea about. And so that's what you should keep your mind on. The fact that every step you take in your educational process will form you as a human being, will help you find your journey and find your path.
That's what I really wanted to do, and I ended up taking some music classes in jazz and studying opera and classical. And then my parents couldn't afford to help me complete college, so I had to wait tables and sing on the side. And that's how I became the singer. And all of a sudden, I started to enjoy it even more as a profession. You get what I'm saying? Profession. And it just took over my life. Sometimes my plan is different from, well, God's plan is bigger than my plan. So it was meant for me to do what I'm doing. And I even got 2 scholarships to go back to school. I'm always trying to go back, and every time I would try to go back, then something major would happen with my career. So for me, everything I learned in school about singing in my craft taught me about breathing and how to reach past the 4th row and go all the way out. Like I can play Carnegie Hall or Hollywood Bowl and reach the whole audience because of my training. And I think I can't wait to go back to school to learn more about singing, even though I feel everyone feels, oh, you're this. I always feel there's more I can learn and more that I can do. And I learned more outside of school. I had to take away everything. And why are your notes so proper? Why are you pronunciating everything in R and B? You know, and you're like, this is a hip hop song. Why are you singing it like that? This is not Broadway, you know. I made it on Broadway. I've done so much with my singing in different genres of music and worked with different people just because I felt I learned how to hustle. Meaning other singers would teach me how to do a time step before the audition, or lead, make sure your arm goes out here and you'll get the job. You get what I mean? So education comes in different forms, but it is great when you can study Leontine Price and, you know, all these wonderful singers sing Carmen on film in your class, or one student, my teacher, Norma Levester, hollering at me with her glasses. You know, it's just a great experience. So education taught me a lot. I'm always wanting it, and I can't wait to go back, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. But that's because my path is what it is right now. So, and I get to do everything that I've ever wanted to do. But again, just have faith and dream big and go for it. And that's what I did.